Welcome to the Backlash Podcast. We want to bring some video and audio content to the audio community. I'm Eric.
I'm Scott.
And we've been playing this game since, we were like 15 years old.
Yeah, 15. We were playing Pokemon cards, and we walked into the card store, and we were going to get a few packs, and we saw those glorious raw deal starters on the shelf. Couldn't resist, right?
Yeah, the commonality between us was we met when we discovered we both enjoyed Pokemon, and we both enjoyed wrestling on top of that, so it was only a natural fit to move on to, a more mature card game.
Yes. Because playing Pokemon was not cool when you're in high school. Anyway, so what we ended up doing was both picking up a booster starter deck that day. I grabbed Chris Jericho from Premier.
Yeah, I got a Mania Booker T Survivor Series that just came out shortly before that. So Mania was our first set we got into.
Yeah, and we played pretty well non-stop that first night. I think 30 games or so, and Booker T went 30-0, if I recall correctly.
Well, without having the booster packs, he didn't have the benefit of getting that Jericho pre-match for the random discard.
Yeah, and really we had no Backlash deck at that point in time, if I recall correctly, and I was working with just Premier cards, so Booker had a little more robust deck at that point. But then I went in and bought Kane once he was in stock, and we kind of flipped that around. I think I went 30-0 or so against Booker T, and
you kind of got your come up.
But it got us hooked into the game, that's for sure.
From there, that's how we also met a majority of our group of friends, was through Raw Deal. Just didn't have an impact in gaming, and we built a kind of a circle of people that we still talk to this day.
Yeah, it was the game that really brought us all together, and the glue that holds us together, I think. It's the one thing we all have in common together, which is pretty cool.
And actually, through the game as well, I became a tournament manager a few years into playing it for Barrie, Ontario. It's where we currently play out of OMG Games. And it's been quite the experience, meeting a lot of people online, at large qualifiers and events too, where you can put the names to the people that you talk with online. So we've been actually to a few qualifiers over the years. Back in 2004 was the first one when SummerSlam was in Toronto at Ontario Place. They took it over.
Yeah, that was back in Divas era.
I went with the Rattlesnake. Who did you go with?
I played William Regal that event. Yeah, and I remember I think I went 4-3. Ended up making top 32. But I remember every time I went up with a win, Anti-Goth was surprised that Regal could pull out a win in a qualifier. So that kind of made me proud as a, 15 or 16-year-old kid we were back then, that I was surprising this guy who was very well into the game and knew what he was doing. So,
Yeah, my Rattlesnake deck, I managed to make top 32 as well. I beat out one other Rattlesnake deck. I think it was a Back to Basics. That his was, but I just ran a deck. I think I built it the night before, actually.
Yes, I recall correctly.
At the card shop with the old box of cards. I actually lost in top 32 to a Jamie Noble deck, which is a pretty bad matchup for Rattlesnake.
Yeah. And I lost to Evil Dave's Chris Jericho deck that ran Highlight Reel and Hell in a Cell. And the highlight reel, if I recall, I overturned 15 because I was just thrown off by Hell in a Cell and having played Duchess, and I knew I needed pre-match room, and I'm pretty sure he ended up reversing my Duchess at some point, but it was rough. Regal does not like Hell in a Cell, that's for sure.
Well, that was a really good learning experience, because I think, aside from Toronto, where their players always got the best of us. They were pretty competitive metagame there. It was nice to play people, like a lot of people traveled from the United States. Like Brian Witt came up and his Omaha crowd. Also, another thing I remember is a lot of people wanted to play Dead Man Inc. So I figured. So I guess I think it was 5 Undertakers were represented. No, 4 Undertakers and 1 Dead Man, because everyone figured the Undertaker cards would be harder to get. Because wasn't it Shuker did the same thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was 4 Undertakers and only 1 Dead Man, and I'm pretty sure the Dead Man made the cut, or didn't make the cut, and that's what kind of made it all funny, was that 3 were eliminated due to diversity, and then the 1 didn't actually make the cut. Oh man, yeah, I felt bad for them.
That event actually ran pretty late, like they were leaving Ontario Place open just so we could finish that event. It was a local guy who was playing, Eric Bischoff made the cut. Or made it to the final, ended up winning. I couldn't even tell you what the deck was, though.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Fan Expo, the 2005 qualifier, was my personal favorite one. You weren't able to make that.
I was in California on vacation, so I wasn't there for that one.
I ran Rene Dupree. How long did I play test that deck leading to this?
At least 6 months beforehand. That was all that you played. Yeah.
And which was funny too, because I play tested. It was like a hard being this original, managed by Fifi. Armageddon's upon us, break you. You know, get that hand strip after the managed by Fifi. Search for what I needed to, and then going into this qualifier, I played my pre-match differently, big time. Where I did the managed by Fifi, Armageddon, hard being this original, and Hardcore Holly guest ringside announcer. You know, I'm seeing their hand off the manager anyway, so might as well, you know, name a card I don't want them playing, and that saves me, you know, having to search for a card off of the hard being this original. And there too, I was top seed after Swiss. I can't remember how many players were on that one.
Yeah, I think there was 8 rounds though, right? You were 7.
Yeah, I went 7-1. My only loss was to a timed coin toss against
one of our local buddies. Yeah,
his Jamie Noble deck. I had bad luck with Jamie Noble, and I actually beat the James. Can't remember how to pronounce his last name. Yeah, Candyman. In Swiss rounds, his Goldberg deck. You know, that was a fun matchup, high level play. He went on to win this Canadian qualifier and actually the World Championships at the next year.
But you beat him, so that's a little bit.
Yeah, I did it. And there, I won my top 64. Matchup against the Crippler, and then I lost in top 32 to Batista after some misplays in the pre-match. You know, I thought I would, you know, change it up a little bit, and it actually happened to be the player that beat me the year before was Jamie Noble. So I gotta tell you, I wasn't too thrilled about that performance at all.
And then the next year, that neither of us fared too well. This was the first year that they mashed Revo with Classic. What a mess. We had Andres and Kennedys that were clearly tier 1.
Oh, that A-Train deck.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But, I mean, you had to do something really special to not be Andre and Kennedy and win a tournament at this time of the game. I played Heat Seekers. You played Revolution Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I went 2-4.
Yeah, I think I went 2-4 or 3-4 or something along those lines. So it wasn't pretty, but they stretched the cut that year, right? To do something weird, and I think there was a top 32, even though there was only 34 or 35 players.
But I don't think anyone was really complaining because the prizes they gave out that year was ridiculous.
And it gave everyone an extra game.
Yeah.
I didn't win my top 32. I don't think you did either.
I don't know if I made it.
I'm not sure that it affected the outcome of the game, but it was nice to have that extra round.
The only this standout moment for me in that tournament was playing against, I believe it was the Immortal one, or was a throwback Hulk Hogan. That was the premier WWE superstar with the, you know, he reduced his hand size, built up a superstar value. I overturned so much. And then I was playing, you know, the heavy assault deck that Rey Mysterio is. So I did the You Feeling Lucky throwback. You know, he names a maneuver, but it doesn't matter because, you know, assaults aren't listed on it. Yeah. So he played one reversal to it, but didn't realize all the card text. Asked to take it back. You know, if it was a casual game, I would have been like, sure, but I needed every chance I could get in that. So he ended up discarding his hand, but, you know, that early game mill of, I think, close to 30 cards. You know, I couldn't catch up from it.
Yeah. I really don't have any memories from that tournament at all, other than it just being a train wreck for me and my performance, and lots of Kennedys and Andres doing very well.
I remember it was Andre the Giant against the A-Train. It was one of the top. It was after Swiss Games. And about middle of the game, Andre the Giant played the Giant Headbutt, the 0 for 10. So A-Train played, I think it was a power slam. The manager interferes, and I believe he drew the second power slam off of that. I was looking over the shoulder, and I was like, oh, I had to walk away from it. That was a good qualifier.
Yeah.
Experience, being able to watch a lot of the high level stuff with the mixed sets, but realizing it wasn't something that should have been mixed.
Yeah. And then we took a couple of years off from there. We played casually, I guess, at our store, and
even during pay-per-views and meeting as groups, because all of us that knew each other, we all played the game anyways. Playing against the Bobby Lashley.
So just a few months ago, I guess it was early last year, you introduced the Virtual Championship Series to our store, and thought it would be, hey, if we run this series over a 3-month period and give points based on your positioning after 3 months of performance, that will give you a good idea of where you stand in relation to everyone else that plays, and then the top 2 performers after the 3 months can play off in like a championship game.
Well, the idea behind that is we were ordering tournament kits. And we received China backstage autograph section, but it was before she had passed away. And this was like, what was it, the first signature we received?
Yeah, it was the first signature we received.
So, wanted to put something special behind it, and that was the idea, where it's like, we don't have this card in circulation in the group at all. It's like, you should really earn it, because the previous tournament kits, when the game was being developed, the signature cards were being given away randomly. And we had one guy in our group that would always win the random prize.
I never won a single signature. We must have gone 16 months of kits, probably close to 2 years, and I never got one. I had to trade and scratch and claw to get one.
I remember I was obsessed with these signatures when they first came out. Survivor Series 3 hit, and it had all those throwback cards. I remember Ric Flair Interferes was a hot card. I was trading these, higher tier, but nothing like Springboard Dropkick or First Attack, plus cash, just to get like a Johnny Nitro signature. I wanted them so. I wanted the M&M set, because all 3 of them did an individual one each.
I just wanted a Kane signature. I'm a big Kane fan, and I finally got it, and then that was the chase. The chase was over.
It's harder to get than an Armageddon is upon us.
But before that, you mentioned that it was the first time that we had that backstage signing appearance in our group. And I actually did win one in California when I went down to visit my in-laws, I guess 2 years ago now. And I played with the SoCal group with Creed and Douchebag and Tony Vella, and they were great guys to play with. Very welcoming. We had a Revolution format tournament. I brought a Sabu deck that I think, to my knowledge, has only lost one game, and that was in a top 4 match in Toronto around the Revolution 3 era. And that was before I had a 2 for the show that would get me on the board, and then I would just hide and turtle under Hardcore Hell. So that kind of caught the California guys off guard to go in and win against them, but they were very humble, and they knew that I traveled a long way, and if I recall correctly, Douchebag ended up donating most of his prizes to me, even though I was the winner and got a bigger prize. Tony's prizes are outstanding all the time. He's done a lot of great support for the game. So,
well, and that's the thing with down in California, where our group, we weren't playing the Revolution format.
Exactly.
None of us got into it. I think we only bought up to Revolution 2 and 3. There's very limited card pool in town here.
I think Cam bought a case, but that was about it. He had all access to it, and we didn't. So,
I just couldn't get into it. It was the change. It struck a lot of people the wrong way. And the aggression rule too. It's like, why turn this wrestling card game into more maneuvers? We don't need it to be a wrestling card game.
That is the one thing that I do like about Revolution is that the pre-match has been at 6 for capacity, and it stays at that. So it only lasts 5-6 minutes. I mean, if you watched a YouTube video from Stacy Keebler versus Devil's Favorite Demon from our last tournament championship, the pre-match was 26 minutes. So that's half a round, and we just started playing. So I do like that about Revolution, that the pre-match gets the game started, and aggression rule keeps it quick. So.
And that's what I've noticed with Virtual, or with Classic, your pre-match, with the champ is here, my sacrifice, Linda and the boards. You would get the larger pre-match, but there wasn't as much to do as what Virtual was, and that is something that we had to get used to getting into Virtual. Was the larger pre-matches, the pre-match phases going on for upwards of 20 minutes.
I think that was a rare case. He played Dallas, Texas, so I had to get rid of a bunch of cards from my deck and remove them from the game, but still, it can take 20 minutes. That's just...
And then, so we started playing back around, I think it's 2015, we started doing regular events.
Yeah, I think it was around Virtual 6 was, or Virtual 5, I think 6 was the Revolution set. But right after Virtual 5 came out, then they started spoiling Virtual 7 cards, and they were active guys like the Shield and the Wyatt family. And we were starting to get excited, like, hey, they're bringing on these active guys that are really hot right now. Can I get you guys interested? I was always on the Virtual bandwagon. I printed a bunch out. Convincing them was another story.
Oh, well, because you'd look at it piece by piece. Like you'd look at that, like the first set, you'd look at that Undertaker backstage area card. The shenanigans cards. Like, now I have a better concept of what they are. They're more printed erratas.
When it all comes together,
yeah. So, I mean, we still have some difficulty
I think they call it spoiler shock is what they call it on Team Canada Online. If you haven't heard of TeamCanadaOnline.net, you should check it out. That's basically the thriving raw deal community that we have out there.
Yeah, and all the virtual releases come through those guys. Creed is the main front runner, the lead designer, I believe. But I mean, it took us quite a few years to get into, even to convince people for Virtual. We were always like, no. And then after playing so much Classic, and we were like, this is getting stale, stagnant.
That was the problem. I played every superstar I own. I mean, I probably only own 15 to 20 guys, but I built all of them. I played every win condition that you could think of, like all the stipulations, what's that small grapple that you play 5 of and win the game?
Small package.
I built a deck around that. 4 corners match. Like, that's it. Everything. Good night, everybody. Like, every win condition I had tried with some kind of superstar, and we were just getting stale. The game had been out of print for 6 years by then.
I think close to 10.
Yeah.
I think the game was finished the beginning of 2007, January, because 6 was the last Canadian qualifier, and then the Worlds never happened. But I think they got like a cash donation, something. So we wanted to get into Virtual, but I mean, it was very overwhelming at first because we were 6 sets behind.
Yeah, so that was... We decided we needed to come up with a strategy to break into that, so we decided, here, we'll just do Virtual 1 first. It was a pretty big set because I believe the creative idea behind that was to kind of bring the poor superstars up a notch, not give too much support to the guys that were already very good, and then maybe bring guys like Piper and Andre down a notch to really balance out the playing field.
Well, that was the thing with the backstage shenanigan cards was, they're so wordy, but all they do is they blank cards. It gets rid of those negative play experiences. And they're set by set as well. It's not just blanketed, so that we carried on with that. So when they changed the meta in the virtual sets, we got to transition to those as well. And then you could see the design advantages of doing those kind of things.
And I don't think it really... Those shenanigan cards really affected our play group that much because we were very casual players. We always had a gentleman's list. Like, you don't play, it's all about the game. Don't play Piper. Don't play Andre. We know they're good. Like, come up with something else. You want to have fun. You want to play it.
Yeah, like when you have events between 4 people to, we got upwards of 12 actually sometimes. You want to go and have fun. I mean, because what are you going to win? Some store credit? You're just going to, have a bunch of upset, peers and friends, who won't want to go to the next one anyways. Like, no, if you're running that, I'd rather stay home and play at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
So with the virtual sets, we did 2 sets 2 months at a time. We did virtual 1 and 2 because 2 only introduced WCW and ECW superstars, and that was enough time to kind of get used to all the new pre-match cards because it wasn't the specifics you had to get used to.
Yeah.
We took lead with if you're playing against a new superstar, hey, your opponent's going to show you the backstage area card specifics they have pre-match and in-match just so you learn. And if they play a card from hand, well, you learn the hard way what it does.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. I mean, some people were more against changing to it.
Yeah.
And we've seen quite the shift, actually, in how player performance is. We've had some top players, they weren't able to perform as well as they did with Classic because of their familiarity, but we've actually seen some players that had difficulty even making top 4 over the duration of the game.
Yeah.
We're now making, even the finals. Like Ryan's Road Dog deck, man, he got some good cards.
Yeah.
Did Ryan make the finals or did he win an event?
He won. I'm certain that he won.
Yeah.
The one event. Yeah. That's a
nasty
deck.
And who in their lifetime can say that Road Dog won an
Road
event?
Dog won an event. Yeah, he got some great cards in virtual, that's for sure. And it was a huge learning curve. And we figured by doing 2 sets at a time, it would keep it pretty affordable for everyone. It would give them time to print the cards and cut them out. And now that we're all caught up, it's a lot easier to keep up. But
and with virtual as well, because we haven't been playing release over release, we have this backlog of superstars that are still supported in future sets to enjoy. Where with Classic, you ran through 100 superstars the game ended up coming out with.
Yeah.
And speaking of virtual, we have a tournament coming up. In 2 weeks. It's going to be virtual 8 only. Who do you plan on playing for?
I'm leaning heavily towards Fandango. I don't want to be too much of a negative Nancy, but when the list of superstars came out, again, we're only 30 years old. We weren't watching wrestling back when guys like Terry Funk and British Bulldog and Rhodes were all in their prime, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really have a connection towards them. I was really looking forward to the Attitude guys and the current guys. So I was excited about Brood, Nation Domination, Ken Shamrock, Val Venus, Fandango. That was kind of my handful. If I had to pick 5, I was like, those 5 are the ones.
One of these things are not like the other.
Right. So I initially drew up a Val Venus deck, and I think I was just trying to do way too many things at once with the deck, and I haven't play tested it at all, so that will probably help me decide which direction I want to go with Val Venus. But I saw that Fandango did well at a tournament on TCO. Gave me a few ideas, so I've whipped up my own deck list, and I haven't had time to test that either, but I'm a little more confident in the direction of Fandango than Val Venus as of right now.
Well, what I really like about Fandango is, you don't get that successful maneuver, and, you just put it underneath some array.
And just keep playing it and playing it and playing it. I'm interested to see how that works with... I don't want to spoil my tech for this upcoming tournament.
How big prizes at stake. We got some alternate art cards.
I might share it with the guys before I play it, just to give them a heads up.
Come on, give us a little tease.
We'll see how it goes. It's about playing a maneuver until it's successful. And it's a good maneuver, right?
Judo choke.
Not quite. I was thinking along the precision haymaker.
Oh.
Right? I'll make you draw 5, and you can play a reversal to it, and I'll make you draw 5 the next turn. Now, luckily, TCO did just come out with a virtual card that slows down precision haymaker. So, Barry guys, I recommend backing that next tournament.
Yeah, it was part of their Gen Con releases along with the Volley This.
Yeah, because forcing your opponent to draw 5 is really, really good. Even if they draw a reversal, like, you're basically forcing 5 damage on their deck, which is 12%, right?
And you as Fandango, you don't care if they draw a reversal. Because you're just going to make them draw 5 the next turn anyways.
Exactly.
Well, maybe he'll delay posting this online so they don't play that guest
no,
referee.
I don't mind at all. I'm only running one just to test it out and see how it goes. I'm more sticking to the knee, leg, toe theme because Fandango meshes well with those or on one of its specifics where you get a little bit of a reduction for each specific in area. And then, you can keep throwing them till they're successful. And then once they are, they just become more difficult to reverse. So
my favorite part about Fandango isn't what any of the cards do. It's that picture on Cha-Cha Lala.
Yeah. That is a great card. Yeah, it's a great card.
Because I was looking at him as well before you had mentioned it. And I just wanted to build him just to keep cycling that Cha-Cha Lala with his backstage area card.
Yeah. Who are you looking at?
Well, originally I was looking at the Brood, being from the Toronto area, Edge and Christian, they're local heroes.
Yeah.
But back when Bray Wyatt came out, when we started Virtual 7, he's very similar. We're running a lot of those reversrsals and removing them from the game, but I just couldn't wrap my head around what to do with it. Where the Brood, their ability leaves a lot to desire. You get the reduction on your superstar specifics by 6, and you have to remove an all red reversal. But their backstage area card, the Born of Blood and Fire, when they play a maneuver, you get to choose one. You remove first you remove a non-hybrid reversal card from the game, and then you can either make their maneuver no longer a chain or volley, which is huge. Chain is
huge in Virtual.
It's not a multi. Multis are big as well, and I can't think of many RMS multis that people are packing. Or you give it -2 stun value. I know one local guy who loves to stun the crowd.
Yeah.
or when it's successfully played, it's blank. So
that's pretty powerful.
The first thing that comes to mind is that atomic driver.
Yeah.
Or even it doesn't work for cold cock because it's when it's not successfully played.
Yeah.
Which, man, that card is cold ends games.
Cold cock?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great volley maneuver. Yeah. Volley, I think, got a big boost in Classic as well. Virtual, sorry. We've seen a lot of volley decks. And what's that Virtual card? The pre-match one?
Opening volley,
yeah.
You're getting your fortitude.
Yeah, and you're not taking damage off elbows and revos and stuff like that, so...
But with the deck I currently have built, I'm just looking for it on here. I can search for it actually. Is Heart Dynasty. They kind of take me out of my comfort zone. I'm not a big high risk player. Well, they don't limit you to having to build that way. With being able to play that from the top rope at 0 fortitude, because they can pack the chain wrestling from the top rope and springboard in their backstage area card. Backstage area. They play a card, discard a card, play a card face down. There's no fortitude on playing a face down card, and it gains the text and title of the card, so you can from the top rope without meeting the requirements of it. So I want to play the what's the 3-for-8 unique SmackDown high risk?
Yeah, Suicide Lariat.
Suicide. You can play it turn 1 because they have the 1 damage pre-match card. And because they're the Heart Dynasty, they're in the Heart Family storyline, not the storyline, the faction card. And they can put that trained in the Heart Family dungeon into play. All your maneuvers are -2 fortitude. So right away, you're playing a 3-for-8 unique high risk turn 1. It's just phenomenal. And the fact that going on with how Chain is so strong, they discard 1 less card for the Chain trait with one of their pre-match cards. That is for reversing and for searching as well, which is huge. But I'm really enjoying the Virtual 8 set. Of course, there's a shift in strength. I'm with you with those classic guys, Dusty Rhodes, Terry Funk, maybe if it was Chainsaw Charlie, I'd be a little more interested. But I just didn't grow up in that era of wrestling where some of the players in our area did, and they'll be absolutely excited for it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun in 2 weeks. Play all virtual 8, and there might be diversity. That's one thing we haven't run into at all locally. Is
since we introduced virtual, there's never been diversity. Mind you, we did have Devil's Favorite Demon versus Kane last tournament.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 superstars, and there's usually 8 of us playing in tournaments. So there's a good chance there might be some diversity. We've been pretty open on who we're going to play just to try to avoid that, but you never know. Keeps it fun and exciting.
And actually, speaking of virtual 8, I reached out to Creed on TCO, and I'm like, hey, we're filming a little video, trying out a podcast. You got any spoilers for us? And you know what? He gave us a little bit of a preview, Scott.
Nice.
So with Virtual 8B, Virtual 8A was all the new superstars. Virtual 8B is going to be superstar support from previous released wrestlers, plus non-specific cards. So the Shield's getting a big boost.
All right.
Each of the individual members are going to get 4 new cards each for their single logo. So they're, because a lot of them have lower values, and they're all based around one theme as well. Roman's Bash, Dean Ambrose's Heat, and Seth Rollins' Technical. So one of the superstars are going to get a card to highlight the rise to world champion. So I'm thinking...
Which they've all been, right? The Shield, all of their gimmicks have changed over the years. I guess Roman's kind of still a Shield guy, but they've all become world champions.
Yeah,
in
and actually,
5 years.
There was that one pay-per-view where it was Roman and Seth. Was it Seth in the finals because of the vacated belt from Finn Balor's injury?
Yeah.
And then one of them cashed in and won the belt, so we had that whole
all three of them at once.
And this spoiler is very fitting as well, or preview, because I don't have any card titles. It's just kind of, a little treat to tease. Shield just kind of, they're teasing, they're rejoining one another.
The reunion,
so we got another card to focus on a storyline or feature. So not too sure what that could be leading to. Maybe Seth Rollins is going to get an authority-based card. Maybe we'll see J&J Security coming around. And they're getting new finishers and moves as well.
Cool.
I'm not the most familiar with their card pools, so I don't know. They have maybe it's the Curb Stomp. I don't know if we're missing that. The Pedigree.
Yeah.
And the what is it? The King Slayer, is that the new one? Or King's Downing? I don't know. I haven't been watching Raw too much.
Speaking of not being too familiar with the Shield, I'm just looking at the Virtual 7 Superstar list. Yeah, I believe Cesaro's been played at a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige.
I've seen Paige a few times.
That's it. Those are the only 2 superstars, and I think that's just because of when we got in right after V5. V7 was this huge set that we were kind of like, well, we'll get to it, as we did those 2-month tournaments. So I think V7 was just one of those sets that our playgroup hasn't really looked into a lot of those superstars there yet.
Well, I think shortly after 7 released, we got the holiday set.
Yeah, that was a beautiful surprise. A few of those divas.
2 years in a row, actually. The divas were a nice surprise. The Bellas getting new, updated versions. Which
my favorite, Charlotte.
We don't go that. And she did. Can you believe it? She got another pre-match card. Isn't that exciting?
But they did bring her down and they took 4 cards off her hand size, which I think it is what it is. I don't think it hurts her as much as some people think it does, because she just cycles like a maniac.
Oh, it's crazy.
So beautiful.
Going back to the Shield, because I have more information on the team. So the 3 of them as a superstar card, they're getting 2 new cards of their own as well. So I wonder what you can do with that. I wonder if they're going to get like a chair shot from behind by Seth card.
Yeah.
So So in addition to them, remember the update earlier this year? They updated Rick Rude, McFoley, DDP, made them
the erratas.
And honestly, that's one thing I really enjoy about the virtual sets that you can't really do with printed games. Is they go back and
you can fix them.
they fix them all, and all you got to do is reprint it at your local Staples, and
a couple cents a page. Yeah.
So Rick Rude, DDP, Brutus Beefcake, and Ricky Steamboat. They're getting more card support.
I think Cam has played a few of those guys, Beefcake and Rick Rude.
And Pat played Ricky Steamboat right before the update.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that tournament. I remember reading the report, but Andre.
Yeah, and some classic guys are getting some support. Rhino, nice. Andre the Giant.
Maybe he'll get a tag card with Heath Slater.
Ooh. Nice. Maybe he'll get an above ground pool as a venue.
Yeah, above ground pool.
And APA are getting some new cards as well, or at least a card, which is nice too, because with the Gen Con promos, they previewed the new volley disc. That's a maneuver hybrid. So that gives them a 0 fortitude action reversal. Yeah. Well, it reverses any non-maneuver cards. So, for those play areas that are playing with the Revolution cards, it's going to reverse the antics as well. And we're getting some products in the game as well. We're going to get DDP Yoga. Nice. And I'm really excited for this. I loved them when they first came out. I had my unicorn horn on during it. We're going to get some Bootios and Raw Deal.
Bootios and Raw Deal.
I wonder if it's going to be the one from WrestleMania with the giant box that they tumbled out of.
Yeah. I'm sure it will have something to do. Maybe something to do with 0 fortitude cards.
I didn't think of that.
Search for some 0 fortitude or 0 damage cards and get. Who knows? We'll see. I'm excited. You had a nice New Day deck that did really well.
Well, I felt they updated their backstage area card, where that allowed you to draw off of the heel cards, pre-match cards, and that needed to change. And actually, a few people voiced their opinion on the forum on TCO about that one. Mm-hmm. I was happy to see it got changed. As much as I love playing the deck, I think I was doubling their hand size in the pre-match phase, and that was without Premier SmackDown Superstar. Yeah. That wraps it up for the virtual 8B preview. Yeah. I believe they said it was dropping at sometime in October. I'm not really sure. I'm just going past discussions that I saw online.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't be sad if they held it till Christmas and gave us that nice gift again, because there's nothing better than getting holiday presents. And I don't know about you, but typically I'm off work then, so I can play around with the cards, build some new decks, and do that. So no,
but what I'm most excited about for the holiday sets are new superstars.
Yeah.
And then with this set here with Virtual 8A, it was the newest superstar, Fandango. We haven't seen Summer Rae on TV for a long time. Where's our AJ Styles? Where's our Shinsuke Nakamura? There's a lot of guys now. And with Virtual 8, wish list, what do you want to see? It was a lot of superstars. Yeah. And look how much more have debuted outside of NXT.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal.
We can't hinder the Jinder. We need him.
He's in 3-man band, but he's also the world champion right now.
So that'll be that's pretty exciting to see. More set releases. I like this delay though. It gives more releases throughout the year.
Yeah, and you're not printing off 200 cards at once, and you can get to learn the cards a little better. I enjoy that aspect as well. So.
Mm-hmm. So thanks to Creed over on TCO for giving us that little treat, early Halloween candy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should wrap it there for the first show. We'll end it on that.
Sounds good.
So we want to hear from you guys as well. We have a Twitter handle at Backlash Pod. Send us an email. backlashpod@gmail.com. Even leave comments here on the YouTube page.
What do you want people to talk about?
We talked about a lot how we got into the game, our early experiences, some qualifier stuff.
Yeah.
How about we hear, some of other people's early experiences.
Early memories, yeah.
Their favorite experiences playing Raw Deal, how they do in the qualifiers. I'm not picky. Let's hear about anything, Let's hear what people want to talk about. Because if it wasn't for the community playing this game still, We wouldn't have the virtual cards.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to be posting these events that we hold online. We wouldn't want to be doing this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, send us a tweet or email. We want to hear your stories and get everyone in the community involved in this. And
yeah, we'll answer them. We're going to have another one in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can continue doing this every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think that does
that wraps her up. Alrighty, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks for checking us out, guys.